Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles.
We live.
Technically, we're recorded, but yeah, we live.
Oh, okay. Well, that's my little catchphrase.
We were live once.
Yeah, when we going live again? That was hot.
I thought about doing it live today, to be honest with you.
hey, live was where it was.
Live was
lit.
intense.
It was like a party.
Yeah, man, I feel like I got up. My hamstrings were tight. We were on here for a minute.
Oh yeah,
and I felt like I wasn't invited to the party. I didn't really. The whole time he like down looking at his phone, like you in the party. I had no clue to do that.
Yeah, it was your own. It was your own party, and you.
The whole time we were doing it. Yeah, the whole time we were doing it, I'm like, this don't feel live. This just feels like another show. We get a question here and there, but this isn't live. And we finish up, and I see Ant like, "Yo, what's going in?" And I'm like, "Hold on, man, I see that."
Oh yeah, because I was checking the comments.
Ant, before we get on, Ant said, "Shawn, what you been eating out there? And it don't even matter."
Oh yeah,
I can't taste the damn thing.
Oh man,
it's a good time to eat super healthy though.
Yeah. This is the crazy thing. This is the only thing I can taste. It's a damn banana. Yeah. I can taste the banana, but that's it. But like yesterday, I called myself getting up morning, favorite time of the day to eat. I get on Uber Eats, like, let me scroll through a little bit, see what's on. I said, oh, this sounds good. Click. I said, oh, let me taste that. I ain't never had that. Click. I did not remember that I was going to be able to taste. I swear to God, this is a true story. I did not remember that I wasn't going to be able to taste anything until I was texting Tiki. And I said, yeah, I got this bagel with cream cheese and it's got brown sugar on top. She said, that sounds good. I said, yeah, don't it? And then she texts back, I wish you could taste it. I said, oh, slapped in the face right there.
That sounds good too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's been like the only struggle for me is I can't really taste my, but I said, you know what, man, if that's the only thing I got to complain about, then it's, it's all good.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some people,
it's kind of funny though. So fast forward to last night, I didn't even eat dinner because last night I didn't eat dinner because I was like, when I'm gonna pay $30 for something I can't even taste it, and I call myself at midnight wanting to eat some. I was like, I can't win.
Yeah, just go ahead and get it because once it gets late, you're gonna get hungry.
Yeah, I was like, I can't even win.
You might as well just eat all lettuce and vegetables and get you some tofu or something. I feel like you just eat healthy, even if it doesn't normally taste good, because now's the time to try some stuff that you've never tried before.
And Tiki's like, yo, you should eat some spicy food since you don't never like it. I got a feeling that if anything, that spicy is still gonna kick my ass, right? It's still gonna kick my ass.
Yeah, don't do that to you.
Yeah. I looked at it for a second. I was like, nah, I can't do that. I'm not gonna take it.
Yeah, that would be no good. A lot of people sending, a lot of fans, a lot of people sending you love though, which is nice.
Yeah, I got text messages from a few people.
Yeah,
Andre Ward, Al Bernstein text me. A few other people text me. It was pretty good. It's cool to see the love,
Yeah. Hopefully power through.
Keep it real though. Out of our whole group, Carson and who I think it's like a unanimous decision that we all thought your ass was gonna get it, Ant.
What?
100%. Like I think you out of everybody in our group, like everybody's like, yeah, let's just stay away from Ant for a minute.
You're out of line, man.
In fairness, I've stayed away from
No.
But
fair enough. I've seen my mom maybe once, twice. She's like, yeah, you do a lot. You do a lot. I was like, all right.
Oh, she like, don't come over.
Like, she don't say come, but she's like, you do a lot. I was like, all right.
She's like, I'm not saying don't come over, but don't come over.
But I'm like, I be testing. I mean, thank God I'm staying negative.
Yeah.
While you guys are saying this, we're staying negative and all this. man, we had a discussion and we were talking about Shawn putting in the group who's gonna get it. So in our cloud, it just popped up on my computer. I got a schedule vaccine I didn't even know about on 4/13/21.
There you go.
Yeah, it's in the
Coming up.
cloud. I didn't schedule that. I didn't schedule that.
A
That's all I'm
blessing.
gonna say. But
as it pertains to the virus and the vaccine, because I know it's probably people that watch this and they especially when it comes to the boxing, they trust what we got to say and they appreciate what we have to say and things like that. But let's keep it real when we talking about the virus, and now we're talking about the fact that I've contracted it, I've had it now. I guess I tested positive on Tuesday, so we're estimating that sometime on Monday I contracted it, and the quarantine is still like, I think I got maybe 3 or 4 more days left in the quarantine to this point, maybe 4 or 5. But I think a lot of people are like, what are you guys going to do? And they might even solicit our advice, or if anything, are just wondering. So, and you are scheduled to get seen. How excited are you?
Hey man, hey man, we're not in the group no more. Hey, I'm gonna get it. Man. I'm gonna get it.
all I will say is listen to the health professionals.
Yeah.
Listen to the latest advice from the medical professionals and follow that advice. Still follow guidelines. Get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And we've all kind of said, and even Ant was going back to that. A lot of it is for other people, like whether you're yourself that concerned, like if it whatever, is what it is. But take care of it for yourself so you don't get somebody else sick.
Yeah, I mean that's the scariest thing. I got my grandmother at my mom's house, and she's very sick, so I didn't want to take a chance with that, man.
Yeah,
certain things. Like it was times I had to go over there and do stuff for emergency purposes because of my job. I still ain't gonna tell people what I do, but that's the only reason why I really went over there.
Yeah,
but
it's like you be in everybody's house. That's all we gonna say.
Yeah, I do. I be in everybody's house. Yeah, man. Hey, that's crazy. Y'all had a side group talking about, hey, man, stay out, watch out for Ant, man. Ant got it. Everybody got it.
I don't remember this at all, but
I know that's how Shawn thinks.
Shawn said it, so I'll roll with it.
It was more of it. It was the Porter household. It wasn't really y'all. It was the Porter household saying, watch out for Ant.
No, I think you misunderstood what I said. I think with the conversation was who's gonna get the, if anybody would get it, we're not wishing this on nobody, but if anybody would get it, who would it be? And I think unanimously
everything points to me.
It's not gotta be Ant. He be in everybody's house doing God knows what.
Hey, I've told y'all before. I've been to people's house.
Yeah.
I've been to people's house, and they have different ways they think about the vaccine, and people literally get upset that I wear my mask. I'm like, all right, you want these services, or you want me to leave? Like, I'm not a drug dealer or nothing like that, or like a stripper or nothing. So, all right, because the way I was describing my job, it sounded kind of wild. Without
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
We're gonna have some of your colleagues on the show someday.
Oh man, that'd be quite the time.
They wouldn't know what to. They wouldn't know what to do.
You didn't get to work Thursday, but you got to enjoy some good fights, SP.
Yeah, man, I got to enjoy it, and I really love being on this side of the ring because it's like I enjoy fights more now, and I think it's because I have to be so involved with the fighters and so involved with the night that it kind of adds on to it for me. The word I always say is investment. And it's like I'm so invested into the night, into the promotion and things like that the fights have become more exciting for me, which is pretty cool because I never really thought that that was gonna happen to me. I just always thought that I watch fights and they just be what they are. But to see again what Ring City has been able to do to this point. promotional entity in boxing has been amazing, in my opinion. And to see what these fighters have been able to just go out and do. And I think that it's looking like it's an advantage to put guys in the ring and women in the ring who are not necessarily worried about their record so much as they are concerned about fighting well and earning another opportunity to get in the ring and make money. Yeah. And I think that kind of hopefully that trends. Hopefully that becomes a part of boxing where people understand that my job is to get in there, make money, and be entertaining. My job is to be a champion. My job is to be, a winner, but my job is to entertain. That's why I get paid to do what I do. I don't get paid to protect the record. I don't get paid to not take chances and not take opportunities. And I see that's what's happening with these guys in Ring City, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, big win for Amanda Serrano, holding it down.
She's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. 7 championships and 7 titles in 8 divisions. And I mean, I doubt anybody ever thought they'd say that about a female champion. And it's not a fluke. Like, she has moved up the ranks and moved up these weight classes and has really taken over. She's got something that a lot of these female fighters don't have. She's got poise, she's got style, she's got intelligence in the ring. She's clearly got power, if not a lot of pop. And she's got skills, and that's rare for the females, and we're starting to see it more and more, which is it's refreshing for me because I haven't really been that much of a supporter of female fighting. So it's been refreshing for me to have to study these female fighters and see where they come from and all this and that. And, kind of raise my eyebrows like, all right, these women are serious. Let me start giving them the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
She was
there to throw.
Hey, is it possible to get Amanda versus what we got? Was it
everybody saying Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor?
Yeah, is it possible?
Now Katie is a force. She's bigger too, and she's real. So Amanda's real and Katie. Yeah. So that will be a real fight.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, they're legitimately just, off top, they're obviously much more than that in general, but there's at least a handful off top that I'm tuning in to fight. Obviously, Clarissa Shields, DeGuote, Katie Taylor, Serrano, Estrada. There's a lot of really good female fighters that aren't just like, if they're on, maybe I won't change the channel or something to that extent. But a lot of these female boxers right now, it's like, all right, I'm tuning in to watch them specifically. Yeah, because they can throw.
And it's crazy because I think what NBC Sport Ring City slogan is anytime, any place, anywhere. Man, they've been living up to it. They've been living up to it. I got to give them credit to that. When I'm watching these fights, I'm like literally the guys get in the ring and it's like, I think I can beat him. I think I can beat him. Let's go. Yeah. And we're just throwing them. I seen one fight, they was just throwing them. I don't even know they was just throwing them.
And it would be different if they were just finding, this is the difference. This is why I love what they're doing. It would be different if you just finding guys that's got professional fights and you putting them in the ring.
Yeah.
But putting let's say hypothetically these are B-level fighters. You're putting the best B-level fighters in the ring against the best B-level fighters. It's not like they done find some D-leaguers and threw them in the ring. Like they are getting some real good fights being on TV.
This might not be the place to build your fighter up at, as Shawn would say last week. This is not the place for that.
It's kind of iron sharpening iron, though. Like you're really
that's true, Carson.
You're just throwing somebody in there, and it's like, hey, good luck. Like Shawn said, if you're even going on the grading scale, it might not be an A versus a D, but it's B versus B or C versus C. So at least it's going to be even. Yeah. Whether it's the top echelon of fighters. Or the top, but they're still throwing. I watched, first off, moving to this weekend, the DAZN card yesterday was 12 hours long at least.
It was weird.
I liked a lot of the fights on Ring City more than I did on DAZN, just because it wasn't one guy is supposed to win. He goes in there and does his thing. It's just two fighters that, make it happen. Good luck.
It's legitimately entertaining, which is again, it's refreshing because I'll look at fighting and I'm like, okay, what do people want to see? What makes them consider a fight to be entertaining? And it's like, you want a little bit of Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but a real avid boxing fan is going to be able to read through that and say, man, these guys ain't got no skills. They just hitting each other. Click, I'm turning the page. You don't got that on Ring City. However, a majority of these fights have a high punch output. You know what I mean? And a lot of action. Obviously, every boxing fan enjoys, if not the occasional, the usual knockout. And you're getting that on Ring City. It's like you getting a nice little dose on Ring City. And I'll go on record, and I've talked to the guys a part of Ring City. I say, hey, when you guys called me to come on, I just was excited about the opportunity. I thought it would be something that could work. So you guys are actually like really making this work. And I was skeptical. I told him, I said, like last week, I said, I'm no longer skeptical about what you guys can do. I'm all in. Whatever you want and need from me, I'm gonna be there and do it for you, because they got, you talk about boxing having a style, like Ring City is they're solidifying what they want to do with boxing. And I mean, they said it with their slogan, anytime, any place, anywhere. Or excuse me, anytime.
You're right there.
Whatever it is.
A lot of Eddies in there.
Yeah, all them Eddies. But it's one thing to say it, but now they're doing it and they're producing it. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it, man. And even if I wasn't a part of it, let me say this: if I wasn't, I would have taken note to it because it was new, and because it was on NBC Sports, and because I always want to try to support boxing. And I think that in doing that, I would have saw what was going on, and I would do what I'm doing right now, which is support it and be all about it, even if I wasn't a part of it. So, they have really blessed me in a lot of ways. So I'm excited for what they got.
We talk about everybody. It's a non-biased podcast right here.
We hate on everybody.
Like the Zone. Every time we watch the Zone, it's an event. Y'all remember the first Zone we watched all together? And
that was an all-nighter too, wasn't it?
We was at Shawn.
I forgot about that.
What was that?
Every single person there fell asleep at least once.
That's why, and Carson, that's why
that was at my house.
Why you're saying that's a long? Like last night was long. I was like, you're not new to this. Like it's been long since the jump.
I don't even know what fight that was.
I don't know. That's when I first.
No. It was. I think it was.
Was it DJ?
No, it wasn't DJ. It was. No. I think it was DJ. And Tevin Farmer was on the undercard, right?
I don't know. All I know is we all just
we struggled.
We struggled through it. That was years ago, but we powered through it. But yesterday, I wasn't like locked in on every fight. I just kind of had it on and was doing some other stuff. But the heavyweight fight, Dillian Whyte got a win. He beat Povetkin, made up for getting stopped the last time. And Povetkin didn't seem like, I don't know if his balance was right. Like his equilibrium was off like from the beginning. Like they mentioned it. He got hit with like some not flush shots and was stumbling like early on.
Even when he was throwing, I'm like, "What you doing, bro?"
I was like, "Well," but so he got him out of there. I think Dillian Whyte. I don't think he beats any of those top guys, but I don't mind seeing him in there with any of those guys. AJ, Fury, Wilder. I think Wilder and them have kind of gone back and forth in the past, but I'd like to see him in there. I think he loses, but I think he's always he comes to fight every time. And he's got some skills, makes him interesting.
Yeah, put him in there. Let's get us a good fight. That's a Wilder comeback fight, man. Where you at?
I think that's a really good comeback fight.
Yeah, where Wilder at?
Because I think Dillian Whyte would test him enough I think he landed every single jab he threw yesterday against Povetkin. But so at least he's gonna jab him a little bit. But I think Wilder, because Whyte has been known to go down. So I think Deontay would eventually get him. But
Hey Carson, me and you.
It's not gonna happen, but I like to see. My bad. What I was about to say is it's not gonna happen, but I'd like to see Wilder get in the ring with someone a little lesser than Dillian Whyte, and then come right back with Dillian
Build confidence.
Whyte. I do think that Dillian Whyte should be very, very soon in Deontay Wilder's future. I don't think he should be the very next fight, especially seeing the things that Dillian Whyte has been able to do in his last previous outings. Even in getting knocked out, you're in the ring and you got a taste of the fire, and now you came back and it's like you got that revenge and things like that. So it's like now your momentum is on a different level, and I think that Deontay needs to get his momentum and his confidence on that level before they get in the ring and clap.
That might work out well because after the fight, White pretty much told Eddie Hearn, like, give me just an easy fight so I can make some money. And then, like, because he's been fighting all tough fights. So he's like, just give me kind of an easy one. So it might make sense if he fights kind of an easier guy. Deontay gets back in the ring against somebody maybe lesser than him, and then they square up after that. But what were you gonna say, Ant?
Is Deontay gonna keep Thurman us?
No. Well, I mean,
he ain't making no effort getting back in the ring.
Is that a thing?
Keith Thurman in us?
Yeah, is that a thing?
First off, a lot of people appreciated your impression, and it was really good when I listened back.
Oh, yeah. He was on. He was on.
Yeah, he was right there.
He was killing it.
I hope not, because I think Keith he's still, again, he has one loss, and so does Deontay. Like, the fact that we're kind of writing these guys off to an extent, but
I ain't think about that.
Yeah, like they literally just
the situation is a little different though. He's had one fight or two fights in 3 or 4 years or 3 years or something like that, you know? So
letting the body recharge quite a bit.
Dang, I forgot about all those layoffs. This is not the first one.
I don't think so. Deontay, he strikes me as the guy coming off of everything with that Fury fight. He strikes me as somebody who's going to want to get back in there. And then once he gets back in there, I think it'll build from there. I think he gets back in, you kind of get through that. Like, all right, I'm back, knock out whoever you fight, and then you're back in the groove. And I think he just rolls from there because he was a pretty active fighter before everything.
Hey, Carson, did Fury give the blueprint? Don't sit back and get beat up on. Go get him.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any other fighter that can do what Fury did. So I mean, you can think that, and you can be like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna press him, and then you're gonna go back the other way and land on your ass.
I'm telling you,
Luis Ortiz.
I would love to see one of these heavyweights try to get in there and run at Deontay.
Shawn, that's your only opportunity.
Because can't nobody do it the way Tyson did it. Tyson did it like behind the jab and all that kind of stuff. If anybody else, they running at him. There's nothing. Nobody else has that kind of skill to work their way up to getting to Deontay. I would love to see that.
It's almost kind of like
I hope them heavyweights think that they got to
try to do that.
I hope.
I mean, it's kind of like look at like Shawn fights Errol close.
Yeah, I was just
and
about
people
to say
are like, oh yeah, does he have the blueprint? Yeah, have fun trying to be Shawn Porter for a night. Like to have that. Yeah, enjoy that.
I never apologize. All credit to my man Carson. I gave Danny Garcia way more credit than he was. I don't even know how. I'll let Carson take it from there. Tell me how trash he was. He disappointed me that fight. I thought I gave him way more. I thought he was gonna get Mikey. I thought he would be between. I don't even know. I just didn't think he was gonna get Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, I think we were all optimistic.
Hold on, is that?
We're coming up with all kind of verbs for fighters. Yeah, don't get Mikey Garcia again.
Hey, Mike,
was he at one loss?
Dang, I don't know how to say this, but if Mikey get up in there with the top guys, it'll go that way, man. I like Mikey. Y'all know Mikey, one of my favorite fighters, man. It'll go that way every time.
I forgot how much of a Mikey Garcia fan you were.
Big fan.
That boy was loving him.
I still love him, but I gotta accept it, man.
He's your chocolatito Roman.
Yeah, man.
I like him to stay at 140 and do his thing, but he want that money at 140. He's in it for the business, which I get it, Mikey. But damn, Mikey.
Yeah, I can't, especially because he dealt with some business stuff for a while. That kind of had him off track. So I feel like now he might be trying to kind of recoup a little bit and get some of that money back that he might have missed out on. But
oh, that's true.
Interesting fights coming up next week. Jamel Herring fights Carl Frampton. I have a question. Yeah, for a while. I have a question for you, SP. So Carl Frampton, ahead of this fight, pretty much said, if I don't beat Jamel Herring, I'm done. I'm retiring. Like, what do you think that mindset does going into a fight? It seems a little aggressive for me.
Yeah. And I've seen that a few times from a few different fighters. I think it's kind of like, I think it's two things. I think number one is kind of like, I got a feeling some fighters are using it as a cop-out. I really do feel that way. I feel like some of these fighters who I've seen say it, it's like they want to be done, give me a reason. And I think that I'm going to use this as my reason why. If I can't beat this guy, then I shouldn't be in a boxing ring. And even though that may very well be true, you shouldn't voice it that way, you know? I think if anything, you're disrespecting the guy you're getting in the ring with, but I think you're also disrespecting yourself and not giving yourself the kind of chance you deserve in the boxing ring. But I also think the other thing too is that a lot of these guys are like, they're willing to accept the understanding that my level is so and so, and once I'm not at this level, I'm going to use this guy to basically confirm that. And if I can't beat him, then I'm just going to leave it alone. So I just think that going into the ring, having said that and voiced that and put that out like that, I just don't think it's a fair way to approach a fight for either guy.
Yeah.
I think, you got the other guy saying, yo, you're not going to beat me, so go ahead and get ready for retirement. And, you're feeling that guy, and then I don't think you're fueling yourself with the right type of energies,
I'm having a really tough time picking that fight. I'm having a really tough time picking that fight.
That's a 50-50. Maybe 55-45. I go with Hampton, but yeah.
I don't
Frampton?
Frampton comes to life.
I mess up people's names left and right. That's my thing.
It happens. Builds character. Because there are times where I'm like,
hey, what kind of character are you building by me?
hey, man, just go with it, man. Like that question make me feel good, man.
Yeah. I'm like, when I mess with somebody, I'll be like, oh, like I take that into next month with me. I'm like, I did that.
I'll sit there and I'll kind of convince myself. I'm like, I think Frampton. I think he's been in there and really done well against some really good fighters, and I think he can beat him. And I'm like, Jamel, he's a really solid fighter too. So I think that should be a pretty solid action fight, and I think it's a really close fight. I don't even know who's favorite in that.
It's a fight that I've been looking forward to. I kind of
Frampton's favorite.
Say again.
Frampton's favorite.
I would lean that way if you were gun to the head. You have to pick. I would lean towards Frampton, but it's close.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
That's kind of extreme.
No, it's a saying.
It's a saying.
No, but that's an extreme saying.
It wasn't. Who do you think, SP?
I think Frampton's gonna win. I actually like what I saw from both guys in the last fights. I thought that, Frampton had an easier outing. I think that he showed a lot of poise, and he showed that even though he's saying that I'm going to retire if I lose, he showed that he still got it, So, but the other kid, he is Herring is just a solid fighter. It's like, I'm not saying he does everything right, but he's a very structured boxer, and he listens to his corner very well. He's got good boxing ability, and I really like that about Jamel Herring, So I think that it's a tough pick'em fight, but I think that if the bullets start to fly, I would bet on Frampton.
Yeah, I think I would lean, like I said, I would lean that way, but I do think that's a really close fight. And the other one, we've mentioned, we had obviously Cool Boy Stefan after he got his win, he got his belt. There's a guy in that division that has 2 belts that doesn't really get talked about. It's MJ Akhmadaliev, and he fights this week coming up.
I don't talk about him because I can't say his name.
Call him MJ.
Yeah, MJ. That is I don't even know if there's like a reason for that being his nickname, but it's helpful because it is definitely he's from Uzbekistan, but 8-0. He's got 2 of the belts in that division. The guy he's fighting
8-0 from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, Uzbekistan. He beat Daniel Roman for the titles, but yeah, that division's got some interesting guys there. SP's guy Luis Neary, obviously Cool Boy Steph, so that should be a good one too. He fights Iwasa, who's 27-3.
Okay. What's this on? What platform?
That one, I want to say that one is DAZN, but I could be making that up. And the other one is on
could be DAZN,
and the other one is ESPN because it's Top Rank. But
we don't know what platform it is, but you're gonna back it up. Could be DAZN
because
I'm doing process of elimination.
Yeah, because of ESPN or PBC.
No, but
they were promoted. They were promoted more. Because they were promoted. Man, this dude.
I appreciate it. Thanks for backing me up, man.
Yeah, you
can drive a wedge between.
Hey, if I ain't gonna do it, who gonna do it?
Yeah,
well, Sean, a sniper shooting at me. We're using gun references.
Yeah, that. I think there's some nice little fights coming up, but
Sean, Sean, you fighting on the Triller? You fighting Crawford on Triller TV?
Triller. I would be down if it was called Thriller, though. To be honest with you, they might have a lawsuit on their hands.
I've said that to somebody else before, and they probably was like, "What is this?"
They're like, "Oh, the Michael Jackson album. I got you."
Oh, what, for $20 million? They giving out money over there. They giving out. No, I ain't heard nothing. I ain't even gonna lie to you, but they paying. I know that. I'm trying to get me a Carson a job.
They got a job. They got really interesting kind of an approach. Ring City has their approach where it's these even matchups, and obviously it's up and coming. Triller is like a combination of entertainment and boxing. Like they have, I saw the crew they have coming up for the fight with one of the Paul brothers, and then the MMA guy who's fighting Askren, I think's his name. And they have like obviously Snoop's on the call again, and they have like pretty sure I saw like Instagram influencers listed in the commentary team, and so it's like they're it's gonna be interesting, especially if they can get, I mean obviously they have Teofimo and Kambosos is gonna be on Triller as well. Yeah,
that's a legit fight.
Yeah,
is that on that same card?
No, that's on a different card, but obviously it'll be on that platform. But it's kind of interesting to see, and I don't know what their plan is, if they're really going to like try to push these other companies, because they're not really a promotional company that has fighters. Like it's just a platform. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they're just going to be kind of on the outside, and like if fights go to purse bids and they like to fight, they jump in and grab it, or
how much are we going to see Triller get into this boxing game?
Yeah.
And who's doing business with him? Like whose license are they fighting under, Sean? Do you know that? Because that's been on the back. Nobody's saying like, was it TBG? Is that your guys that? Yeah, no one's really saying nothing. They just fighting.
And then I'm pretty sure Tyson has a fight coming up on there, and he was gonna fight Holyfield. Then he wasn't gonna fight Holyfield. So. Obviously, they have Roy and Mike on there.
Hey, I want to be a hater. It's not gonna be what we seen in the '90s, okay? Because I got tired of people. People know we do the show. So what you think about the Mike Tyson Holyfield? It's not gonna be what we seen in the '90s, okay? You're gonna be disappointed like you was a couple of months ago.
Yeah. I think if you go into it with a realistic expectation that hey, this will be cool and might be some entertainment, that's fine. But don't expect peak Mike. Don't expect peak Holyfield unless they're gonna do holograms like they did Tupac at Coachella. But I don't think you're gonna expect like prime guys. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do going forward.
And it's just hearing you say that, and it reminded me of Coming to America too. That's like the same thing. It's not what you're gonna expect. It's just times have changed, and these guys are a little bit older now, and they not doing things the same. You know, Eddie Murphy's been a guy he's changed his image so long ago. I don't know why anybody expected I do know why you expected different, because that movie came out in the 80s. And because Eddie was different and Arsenio was different in the 80s. But just hearing you say that is the exact same thing, the exact same feeling that I had watching Coming to America too. I thought it was a genuine, good, wholesome, funny movie. It wasn't over the top hilarious, didn't make me fall down on the ground, but it was what I expected. But going in, I understood like those guys just ain't the same. And the same thing with the boxing game.
Yeah, you need to understand what it is. You need to have low expectations for it,
Yes.
but also appreciate the nostalgia of it. Don't
No. We didn't say low expectations.
No. But you have to lower your expectations because you can't
lower your expectations. That's different.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said, but that's what I meant.
You said you have to have low expectations.
Oh, well, lower. I mean,
we getting the low.
Yeah, but I think you can't you couldn't go into that and be like, oh yeah, Coming to America is gonna be the same as the first one. Like it wasn't. It was not gonna be that. So I went into it kind of like SP did, where I was like, it's gonna be funny. I took it for what it was, and it was what it was. I had a good time with it. Same thing with the Tyson and Roy fight. I wasn't like, oh, it's gonna be prime Roy and prime Tyson. Like, 2 old dudes fighting. There's gonna be some moments where we're like, oh, that was cool. He used to do that, and then that's kind of how you have to deal with these. I have an interesting fan question as far as kind of going back to some throwbacks, and we can just squeeze this one in there. So on Instagram, body_improvement_club, shout out. They say their pops likes to call Shawn a mini Joe Frazier. How do you feel about that comparison?
Yeah, growing up, that was somebody that my dad kind of trained me to fight like. When I was younger, was all about being aggressive, throwing 100 punches around, and just winning every round, and staying on your guy and things like that. And I remember my dad, when I was 8 years old, my dad taught me the leaping left hook. He says, you're going to throw a leaping left hook. Joe Frazier throws a leaping left hook. You fast forward, 10 years old in Philly at the regional Silver Gloves, and Joe Frazier's there. And, my dad says, hey, I taught him the Joe Frazier left hook. I mean, it's just the same conversation I'm sure I'm going to have with somebody eventually, for their son telling me, like, hey, I taught my son this or that to do like you. And because I had this experience, I'm going to do the same thing. Joe said, oh, well, show me. And I was showing him the left hook, and then he started.
You hit him?
No, man, you
That'd be funny.
You know how it is.
Oh, you want to see it?
No.
You want to see it? Well, you can get hit right in the eye with it.
And all those kind of things, So that a big part of my style, especially when I was young, was fighting a lot like Joe Frazier, because I was a shorter kid and smaller and things like that. A lot like Joe was at the heavyweight division. 2
follow-ups on that. You mentioned like down the road that somebody could be like, oh, I taught my son or my daughter how to do blank Shawn Porter. What is the Shawn Porter? What is going to be the signature that somebody could learn? Pressure? Everyone will say headbutting, and don't say that in the comments. Don't say headbutting or being a football player.
Running back?
Yeah.
For me, I really don't know what the Shawn Porter style is. However, I do know that whenever I've seen it and heard it, people will say, I'm teaching him to fight just like you. They're usually teaching their kid to be aggressive, to go to the body and bring it up top, So that's the thing. And, for me to just hear people saying the Shawn Porter style, that alone is like mind blowing to me. But I do know that at this point, when you think about the Shawn Porter style, or I've seen people say, yeah, he fights like Shawn Porter, it's usually the bob and weaving, and it's a lot of punches, and it's a lot of body to the head. Yeah.
Typically when anyone has like a high pressure style on any fight, they're like, oh, you must have been watching Shawn Porter. But my other thing is one of the funniest memes I have ever seen. It was at your expense. So we mentioned the Joe Frazier comparison. After you beat Paulie, the thing was, he's the welterweight Mike Tyson, because you're
it was actually
hockey. Yeah. And somebody did a meme and it said Shawn Porter is the welterweight Mike Tyson. And it said Kell Brook determined that was a lie. I was like, damn, because it was after the Paulie fight that got hyped up, and then the Kell fight. So
Kell determined that was a lie.
Yeah, it was Maury. It was a little cartoon version. It was classic. So going with movies, this is an interesting one. Shawn, you're a big movie guy. So Shmian _ on Instagram, Godzilla versus King Kong. Who wins?
Yeah. My heart
out this week.
My heart wants King Kong to pull it off. Is it out yet?
No, it comes out this week, either Wednesday or Friday.
And I've been wanting to get back into doing my whole synopsis on these movies and things like that for a minute. So maybe I'll use this to really get back into it. But I'm hoping King Kong pulls it off, man. I think it's just the thing about King Kong is like as big and ferocious as he is, it's like somewhere through the movie, it's like he always seems to grab your heart.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's like you find yourself always rooting for him at some point. And so, you know, I'm emotionally attached to King Kong.
I think Godzilla's he's got too many tools in the toolbox, man.
He got like where how does he have all this?
Because Godzilla can take you underwater.
Yeah.
He has the damn nuclear or atomic breath, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's just got too much to work with.
He got King Kong's spikes on the tail. He's swinging at that.
I think King Kong's just going to be fighting. He's just going to be, fighting with heart. But in fairness, shout out to my cousin Dillinger. He mentioned there's very little chance that this just ends with one of them winning. Like, they're probably either both going to die or they're going to have to team up to fight something else. Like, there's no way there's
seen a King Kong versus Godzilla movie.
I think there was an old one. I think I've seen maybe once, but
yeah,
I don't think that one of them is just going to kill the other one. And they're going to be like, well, the end.
Man, King Kong going to beat on that chest and he going to go back to the jungle, baby.
I think Godzilla's getting him out of there.
Nah.
Early stoppage.
We can bet on that.
Man, I think the White Ranger gonna pull up and shut them all down.
Godzilla. I think he's got too much smoke for King Kong. But I'm looking forward to that movie. It was funny they did a side by side of the old King Kong versus Godzilla and the current one, and obviously just the years have passed, but like the graphics are like crazy. Like doesn't even make any damn sense. Another fan question for you. I actually don't think I've ever seen this one asked before. Sean Torrance Sports Talk 726 on YouTube. Why did you never have a rematch clause against Errol or Kell?
The short of it is that's just not how the business worked for me. And I can tell you that, myself and my dad both, I didn't really understand it when it came to the Kell Brook fight. In terms of having a rematch clause, I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand it when it came to Errol Spence Jr. But I think without saying too much about the business, I think that you all expect those clauses to just be a part of the game and be a part of the contract. The contractual obligations that come with a championship fight. And I'll go on record for saying, even though it's not, I feel that it should be. I feel that it should be a part of the stipulations that if the champion loses the fight, then he should have an automatic bid to have a rematch in my fight with Kell Brook. And then the same thing going forward with Errol Spence Jr. It's an opportunity where two belts are on the line, and if the fight really is that great, and we all knew the fight was going to be that great, let's make a rematch clause so that this can happen again. We can bless this world again, And unfortunately for me, that wasn't what the business wanted for me, and we did what we needed to do to make sure that the bank got as big as it got, and we did the best we could to try to handle everything else on the back end in terms of performing the way I needed to in order to make sure that contract that clause didn't matter. And unfortunately it didn't happen that way. But being on the call the other day, I just even though I did not win that fight with Errol Spence Jr., and it's a fight that I definitely wanted to win and things like that. So I can live my life and I can do the things that I want to do. And, granted, if I had won that fight, things might be a little bit different for me, and my life or my family's life might not be what it is, So I'm blessed. And even though, I felt like the clause should have been there for a rematch, it wasn't. But I think that the saying all that to say that you guys should understand that the business is not always what you expect it to be, unfortunately. And I know it's a lot of guys who turn pro who are going to see this. understand that try to learn the business as much as you are fighting, because you do need to know what's going on with your career. And I'm not saying that I didn't know. I'm just saying that that those are things that situations that could arise, and if you don't know, you're not prepared for it. You know, so when it happened with Errol, we were prepared and ready, and it's like we swallowed the pill and we're like, hey, we're going in there, we're gonna go get it. And even though we didn't get it, you know, we gave it the best shot that we could.
Yeah, it's tough just from an outside perspective, because sometimes obviously you and your fight with Errol, it lived up to expectations and exceeded them, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's kind of interesting. Like, what if the challenger goes in there and just completely smokes the champ? Yeah. Like, do we really want to see the champion get another shot if they got completely busted up? Yeah. So it's kind of tough to just predict that. So we mentioned Errol. I think this is the fight that is trending towards happening. I think it's like unofficially happening, but
fifth round KO.
You think so? So it's Drew 15 on Twitter.
Earl running through that cat.
Spence versus Ugas.
Earl's running through that cat.
I feel like Errol is gonna have his way with Ugas. The thing with Ugas is he does not have good feet. He doesn't, he plants his feet and he wants to stand there and bang, and just don't think that banging Errol Spence like that is the job done. It will be different. Like with me, you could say we banged, but I pivoted, I turned, I got off the line. I was able to, block and retreat and use defense and things like that. And I just don't think that Ugas has those abilities. I don't think that that's something that he can learn on the fly in a matter of weeks prior to a fight with Errol Spence Jr. So if he could do anything different, and I just don't think he can. So
I think that was going to hurt him to the body. I think it's going to be what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that it's the kind of fight that is going to last as long as Errol wants it to last, but I do think that Errol's going to control it from beginning to end.
So you mentioned some of the deficiencies in Ugas's game, but obviously he had an extremely close fight with you, no matter how you want to look at it. What are some of the things he does well that might give Errol some trouble?
I know he has the ability to punch. He's a good puncher, and he can get to the body. If he can get to Errol's body and slow Errol down, he's got a chance. But we all know this, in order to get to the body, you have to put your chin out there and you have to take some chances. He covers very well, but I think he's too slow for Errol, so I think his biggest shot is being able to get to the body, maybe get to the body from the outside with jabs to the body, right hands to the body, and work his way up to his hooks to the body. I think that Ugas, Yordenis Ugas, is one of the best rippers to the body that we've seen in a long time. He can rip the body. The thing is, he rips to the body with guys who stand there and allow him to. And I don't think Errol's going to stand there and allow him to just go to his body.
I think his physical strength might play to his advantage as well, because I think of the welterweights, Ugas is one of the strongest physically of the welterweights. So I think if he works his way inside with Errol, he's not somebody where Errol is just going to be able to throw him off or have to break. I think Ugas can wear him down a little bit that way, but I do think Errol stops him.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it to back up what you just said. When I was studying Ugas and my dad, when we were studying Ugas, my dad said, see, look right there. When you get close, he's going to go to the body and then he's going to try to push off. He said, you need to continue to use your feet, step around, don't be there for the push off. He's a physical fighter. He will be physical. He just has to get up on you in order to be physical. But if Errol is not, being responsible with his feet, stepping around, if he gets lazy in there and he allows Ugas to touch him, once Ugas touches you with his body, that's where he's like explode, and he goes body and then he pushes off. And I think that he definitely needs to be physical with Errol Spence. He needs to make Errol feel uncomfortable. And the thing with that is he's going to have to take some chances to do it.
Yeah, that I feel like that's the problem. You get up there and take chances with Errol, you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
I felt like and Errol recovers fast. I've seen you hit him with a big shot, and I was like, all right, Shawn, 10 seconds. He covered up 10 seconds.
And he
was back. Yeah. So that's the other thing. I don't know if if Ugas has just a one-hitter quitter. Because you would need like 3 of those on Errol to really get him out of there.
It'll be interesting to see what Errol tries to do as far as game plan wise, because obviously he fights Mikey and just smokes him from the outside the entire fight.
Why you bring that up again?
Just to spite you at that point. But against Shawn, he went in with the mindset of I'm going to bang with Shawn, but But then I wonder if he's going to just say, all right, I'm just going to try to just fight from the outside, or if Errol just says, all right, I'm just going to win the fight. However it kind of breaks down, whatever cards are dealt, that's how I'll deal with it, because he can do that.
Hey, Carson, you think he's like, I mean, now what we used to call Errol back in the day about knockouts or something?
He was Mr. Man Down for a while.
Yeah, now it's like the truth. Like, he got to get back to that, or I mean, I think if I'm him, I'll put the pressure on trying to get him out of there and just get the man down.
Errol might be one of the top 5 most versatile guys in boxing right now. How he can beat you, because he can beat you. However, I mean, the fact that he can kind of decide how he beats you is crazy. Like, he can be like, yeah, I'm just gonna bull rush this dude, or not bull rush, but like just gonna bulldoze him, or fight him from the outside and beat him this way. He not a lot of fighters have that luxury of being able to do that, and I think, like Ant said, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
I think the plan was he was gonna pressure and beat the shit out of Shawn until Shawn said, "All right, fuck this." Shawn said, "Yeah, no, hey, that was the plan. He was coming to sleep Shawn. He was coming to sleep you." I was like, "Uh-oh." But I got me as your friend. I was like, "I know my guy. He ain't going for this." Yeah, he was coming to sleep you. And Mikey and then both Garcia fights, he wasn't coming to sleep nobody. He was coming to sleep Shawn.
Yeah. And I also...
You didn't feel that? Because you was in the ring. What happened?
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, maybe I'm too far away from the situation now to understand how he approached it. But yeah,
I felt like the first 20 seconds, I was like, uh-oh. He coming to prove something. Huh?
Yeah. He came from my head.
Yeah, you felt that too?
No, I'm asking. He's yeah.
And one thing, we've said this before, but the fact that Errol has some diehard fans, God love them.
Oh yeah.
But
in our comments,
well, they're not just in our comments, but they're just in everyone's comments that the Shawn Porter fight was close because Errol said I'm going to fight Shawn like that, and he did. Which I'm not saying that wasn't his intention, and I'm not saying he didn't do that to an extent.
He got the job done.
He got the job done, but also he didn't have a choice at some point.
Yeah.
He didn't have an option to just fight from the outside. Shawn wasn't going to let that happen. Yeah. So while his mindset may have been, I'm going to come in there, I'm going to Shawn Porter with Shawn Porter, you might have done that, but at some point you didn't have a choice. There wasn't a plan B. You couldn't do anything.
It's like when you're playing somebody and you got, the buckle, you got one buckle up under your chin strap, you're like, all right, this motherfucker come to play. You got to double buckle up. Okay, I got to beat him. Okay, this ain't easy as I thought it was going to be. That's what it kind of reminded me of.
And it also gives you, and I'm not saying this is the case with Errol, but it also gives you not an excuse, but to say I'm going to fight Shawn Porter and it's going to be a firefight, because then you set the expectation that that's what it's going to be. So whether it happens by your choice or by Shawn's, you can be like, oh, and that's kind of what happened. Oh, see, he said he was going to do that. That's why it looked like that. So if I'm like, I'm all, and he'll, if we play basketball, he'll probably beat me because whatever. And then I lose that way. I'm like, oh yeah, see, I told you it was going to happen. So there's a little bit of that where it was like, oh, it's going to be a firefight, and it was, but it wasn't just like his choice, I guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw my neck out there. If you guys, and I'm not saying y'all specifically, anybody, rewatch the first 2 rounds of his fight with Mikey Garcia, and you'll see hesitation from Errol. You'll see Errol not really working accordingly the way we know Errol to work. The build up, and then the knockout. The first 2 rounds, you see hesitation. You see him not being sure how to get at Mikey and how he really wanted to box Mikey. But you see him have small success with his jab in the 3rd round and in the 4th round. The first 2 rounds, The first 2 rounds were close rounds, and it was because Errol was hesitant. It was because Errol was not definitive with what he wanted to do. Then he found his jab in rounds 3 and 4, and that became what he did to win the fight. After the fight, he says, well, everybody said I could not box Mikey, so I went in there with the jab and showed y'all I could not box Mikey. He did what he found what worked, and then he used that to win the fight. It wasn't that he was going in there to beat Mikey outboxing him. It was that he didn't know, and then he found something. He worked it. He used it. It worked. There were opportunities where he could have not.
Also, he's a chameleon. He can adapt.
No.
We ain't taking nothing from him.
And we can say the same thing, moving forward. Like, that's who he is as a fighter. He's gonna find what works, and then he's gonna use that. When it came to my fight with me, he's telling everybody he wants to beat me. He can beat me on the inside, and he can outbang me and things like that. Meanwhile, everybody forgets that he tells me in interviews, multiple interviews, I hope you try to box me. I hope you try to just use the jab. You can't beat me just using the jab, because he was trying to play a mind game, hoping that I wouldn't come at him with the kind of techniques and styles that I have in order to do what it takes to beat him. Then he comes in the ring, and I forced him into my fight. It wasn't that he came to the ring trying to beat me on the inside and outbang me and I can outwork Shawn Porter. I forced him to fight my fight, and then the fight went the way that it went. There were close rounds. There were some more definitive rounds that went my way, and more definitive rounds that went his way. But
one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly, and I forced him into that fight. The same way Mikey, he knew what Mikey had, and he came out hesitant with Mikey. So you have a situation where he beats Mikey using his jab, but it was more so him finding that was what was going to work. And then you see the same thing with us. Yo, we banged it out. But I forced him to bang. It wasn't that he came in there like, I'm going to outbang Shawn. I forced him to fight my fight. And it played out the way that it played out. So when moving forward, he said, I can beat him in his own game. I can do this and I can do that. You a chameleon. You got skills. You can do it. But don't fake the funk like that was your plan all along, was to beat me and outbanging me. And I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I forced you into fighting my fight the same way you came out against Mike and you were hesitant and then found a jab was more effective than anything else, and you stuck with that. So, yeah, I'm saying all this to say, like, don't let these guys, talk y'all into believing a lot of the hype, because it becomes just hype.
And yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like he beat you. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Extremely close fight.
We ain't taking nothing from him.
Nothing from him. But then that's what his fans will try to do to discredit you, that, oh, he said he was going to do that. So obviously,
And before the fight, they were saying knockout. I had somebody come to me and say,
he said he was going to knock him out.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. That's one of the greatest fights that I've been a part of. Hey. And I know from being on the outside of the ring, when a round ends and you sit down and you look at left and right and you like, I don't know who won that round. You are experiencing greatness. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I don't have to defend what I did in the ring that night. Like, it was all done and everybody saw it,
Hey, Shawn, it was a little different for me, even when you lost a round. Hey, I was B-A's. Hey, my man won that round. Yeah. Hey, if you want to go out back and fight for it, we can fight for it.
Hey, listen, I heard there was a couple of Errol Spence Jr. fans out there the same way. They looking around just like that, like, yo, my man won that round. Somebody told me that they woman told him, like, baby, he didn't win that round. You just gonna have to let this one go. He didn't win that round. But hey, man, that's how it goes sometimes.
So my lady does that. So did we get that one? I said, we got that one. We got that one.
Yeah. She walks away thinking Shawn.
And when we did, I already know, and be like, oh no,
I'm a realist.
Wait to the next round. Oh no.
Well, I feel like,
I'm a realist.
I think Ant plays it two ways. When his lady asks and he says, maybe we didn't get that one, but then if somebody else says something, hell yeah, you won that round.
Hell yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Carson, me, you got problems, and somebody say something to you, I don't care if I dislike you or not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whoop his ass, and you can talk about it later.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, this is between us, okay?
The Ant and I might be. I mean, the people that watch this can see how different Ant and I are, but we might be the most different at fights. Because I'm just like, I'm of course rooting for Shawn, one of my best friends. I'm like, I hope he does well. I'm cheering a little bit, but I'm just like, it is what it is. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm sitting down for a lot of it. Ant's like pointing at people in the crowd. He's MFing this.
Hey, if I hear one disrespectful blank Porter, I'm on your ass. I'm on your ass.
And be looking at the bleachers like, what you say?
The only legitimate like back and forth I had with a fan was at the Broner fight, and it was because somebody said something about the Cavs. And I was more defensive of the Cavs than I was of Shawn.
This guy.
Somebody was for Broner, so they're obviously Cincinnati guy, and they were like, I don't know if it was in the middle of the fight, and they go, yeah, he couldn't deal with it just like the Cavs couldn't. And I was like, it was after the Cavs lost in 2015. I turned around and I said, Cincinnati doesn't have a basketball team. And he was like, yeah, but if we did, we wouldn't lose in the finals like some chumps. I was like, what?
I should have been there where I would have got on him, and I can't stand the Cavs. I'd have been LeBron that night.
I was definitely more offended that there was a shot at the Cavs. I was like, hey, wait a damn second. You can talk trash about him, but don't equate it to the Cavs.
Hey, somebody brought up a good idea for us. I'm gonna present it on the podcast.
Okay.
Matter of fact, my lady, she said, well, okay, Shawn fights. Obviously, y'all might not do the podcast. Why don't y'all do like behind the scenes, like not what Shawn does, like us, me, Carson be in the bins. Carson be in the bins. So just want to let y'all know if we ever do this, Carson be in the bins.
I was under pressure.
But just like our behind the scenes, like what your circle does, kind of like interacting with you a little bit. Shawn will kick you the hell out the room if he didn't tell you to come there. His lady's wild.
True. Yeah, we don't. That's all we need to say.
Hey, it's interesting, but yeah, somebody brought that up to me. Like, what do y'all think about doing that?
And
instead of trying to do the podcast.
Yeah, not bad call. And we do have to address. I mentioned the Cavs. Cavs got beat on a buzzer beater yesterday, and I was like, damn, today didn't go that well. And then our guy, friend of the show, Stipe Miocic. That dude. First off, Ngannou. It is. I mean. You talk about somebody that looks like they could kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
It's that guy. Yeah. Like he is a strong guy. And Stipe, I don't know if it's something with Cleveland. I don't know if it's something with the Polish boys, eating Polish boys back home, but he took some of those shots before he got stopped yesterday. And I was like, Shawn's taking some shots. Like Shawn takes that shot against Errol. And it's like, how the hell did he not get knocked out? And Stipe gets hit with a shot yesterday before he ends up getting knocked out. And I'm like, how is he still on his feet and throwing back? Because Ngannou is throwing some bombs. But Stipe, I don't know what you're going to do from here. You've proved it. You've proven it. Arguably the greatest heavyweight in UFC history. I don't know what he's going to do from here. I don't want to see him go like a route of having to fight like a contender or something. Like, I think he's beyond that, if it makes sense.
Yeah. I think that who's the owner of the UFC?
Dana White.
Yeah, Dana White. Yeah. I think that Dana White, I think he does a very good job of his fighters from a business standpoint, and in terms of making sure these fighters don't take too much punishment and that these fighters are healthy. And so just, with that being said, we don't know what Stipe is going to do. Stipe, he's had a phenomenal career, especially with, one thing they say in boxing is you can't do boxing and do other things. Basically, you can't do boxing and have a life, because if you have anything that's taking you away from boxing, your commitment, you're going to come up short. And Stipe has been able to be a fireman down there in the Valley View area.
That's crazy.
For a very long time now. I think he's been a fireman for over a decade. And on top of that has been in the MMM rankings and UFC rankings for a good bit of his entire career. So congratulations. Last night happened through the grace of God. You're healthy and it's over. And if you're getting back in the ring, man, we look forward to seeing you. But again, going back, just saying that, about Dana White, I don't think he'll let any of his fighters continue on if he knows that there's some risks that those fighters may be.
He does seem to do a good job with that. I disagree about how good he is for the business of his fighters, but that's a discussion for another day. But what you were saying is very true. He seems to be, when he thinks that it's probably time for you, he seems to be like, all right, move on.
Yeah.
Well, none of us are UFC experts, but the next fight, Ngannou and Bones Jones, I'm down for it.
Well, they still talking numbers. You know how that goes.
All right, well then I'm buying it. You coming over?
No, I'll watch it from home.
If
it happens after everything, after I'm vaccinated,
that's what I'm talking about.
Over there walking and breaking it down. But
okay,
I think I missed that
fight would be great
more than anything. You being at my house, the whole family, we miss seeing you get up and cut the rug a little bit.
And I'm always on time.
And every now and then,
my man's on time. Hey, to my house too.
Yeah.
Hey, my lady said, I know Carson's on his way.
Hey, if the fight card is going to start at 5:00, Carson and Merck is walking.
Hey, my man, hey, best seat in the house too.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Hey,
I was raised to always be on time, and I need the best seat in the house because if it's going to get crowded, which it has in the past, I need to have the little spot in the corner or dead on in front of the TV.
Hey, shout out to Shawn. He keeps his house under control. Carson's been in my house. My house gets kind of crazy. Shout out to Carson. He knows when to leave. Yeah. Hey, shout out to you other fools staying in my house at 5 a.m. Y'all, there's no one here. Y'all having a conversation that you can leave my house. You're my friends. I want to be rude.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nice guy. But leave.
I think I think it was the Pacquiao Thurman fight. We can kind of wrap up on ridiculous. This. I got there first. I'm sitting there. I got my seat, whatever. And so at some point during, I don't know if it was the main event, but I turned around and there's like 50 people in the house.
I got a big house.
Yeah, I'm like, when the hell did this even happen?
But yeah. Hey, I looked up. It was just everybody I knew I was sitting with. I looked up. I was like, oh man, when I don't know people in my house, that was a problem. So my girl like, oh, that's my friend's boyfriend. Like, nah, man.
Yeah, you got cousins.
I need you to come shake my hand, man.
I turned around and I was like, all right. So now I know there's a huge crowd behind us. Let me just focus back in on the fight.
That was crazy.
That was the wildest one. But
well, fellas, hopefully next time y'all see me and we do this, I won't
get well soon, man.
Yeah,
I'll be in this room. Yeah. How I look healthy?
Yeah, you look healthy. How'd that Popeyes taste?
Yeah, I ain't taste shit.
Okay, why'd you buy a sweet tea?
Sean's gonna get up for all the
I know. Do I know
you? Hey, for all the fans of the Jamie Foxx show, Sean's gonna get up like Jamie after the push-ups on traffic school days where he's yoked up. Sean's gonna be in there doing knuckle push-ups.
I've been working too.
Until he gets out of quarantine. Sean's gonna get out. He's gonna be. He's gonna fight Usyk again coming out of this fight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, get well soon.
All right,
catch y'all on the next one.
All right.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy what you saw, because I know you did. What you need to do now: hit that subscribe button, hit the like, hit that notification button. Check us out every week, every Tuesday. Something new for you right here on the Porter Way Podcast.